What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Love After Lockup. This is season 4, you guys, episode 37. Red flag after red flag. So, before we go ahead and get into this episode review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet, do me a solid favor and please stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Stop having me pay for it at the end of it. Stop paying for, what is it saying? God dang it. All right, you guys. Before we go ahead and get into this video, if you guys aren't watching this video or any other video on my channel and you guys are not yet subscribed, then do me a solid favor, stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video. And with that out of the way, you guys, let's talk about Love After Lockup. I really have to think about my intro. Jesus. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna start with the couples that I'd care the least about. The first one is Nathan and Skyler. They're both toxic as F-U-C-K. Get them off of my screen. So I guess everybody who watches Love After Lockup was on the same consensus last Friday. Y'all were on the same consensus in the comments. Misha's back to reviewing Love After Lockup and she said it in her video. Ashley said it in her video. Auntie's advice said it in her video and it was in her comments. So we are all on the same page that Nathan said nigga. I knew I wasn't tripping. I had to watch that ish 3 to 4 times last week because I was like, wait a minute, let's point something out real quick about WeTV, right? So WeTV put a trigger warning on this week's episode, right? About domestic violence. But y'all didn't make not one mention. Y'all didn't say that y'all don't go for, racism or nothing, right? Because Nathan is a pure white boy saying nigga freely and openly. Now, mind you, when WeTV showed it last week, they made it a habit to not show his mouth, so we couldn't really see what he said. But we knew by that bleep that wasn't no bleep bleep. That was just a bleep. Bleep, that was just a straight bleep. So we know he said nigga, and I don't appreciate that. I really don't, because like I said, y'all put a trigger warning this week about domestic violence, but y'all did not say anything about him using the damn N-word. Ooh, bothersome, right? So Nathan is talking to his cousin who just got out of jail. I couldn't care less, right? So Nathan is talking about, telling his cousin what happened with him and Skyler. Like I said last week, was Skyler disrespectful and rude with what she did? 100%, right? But he still flipped off the handle. These two are both toxic as crap, and they do not need to be with each other. Period. Point blank, right? So Skyler is talking to her mom and her brother about the situation, right? Her mama is worried, and I would be too, right? Because like I said, Nathan is a few screws short of sane. Just saying, he's a few screws short of sane. I feel like with Nathan and Skyler, they could have a situation that's similar to Gabby and Chris, right? Because he's gonna flip off, and he's got his screws ain't all the way tight up there in his brain. Brother man got a problem, and brother man need to get his ass off this TV show, right? They are both triggering to me. Her mother's worried that this situation with her and Nathan might trigger her to go back to drugs. Ma'am, get out of this situation. So we see them, they are at the park and he apologizes to her and she apologizes to him. I was like, this is just not a relationship that is going to be healthy. This is a volatile, toxic relationship in the making. Let's pause here and move forward to the next toxic couple. Gabby and Chris. Oh, you guys, let's just talk about Gabby really quickly. I know we don't like Gabby, right? We don't like Gabby. And I know, like I said last week, somebody left a comment about Gabby. I'm not advocating for Gabby. I don't like Gabby. I think Gabby is a horrible person. And I've said that numerous times how I feel about Gabby. Gabby is terrible, right? The thing that is bothering me now with Gabby is the fact that Gabby is blackfishing. Gabby is about as dark as I am right now. Actually, I think Gabby is a little bit. Actually, I think Gabby is darker than I am. Gabby and I are about the same color brown. No. Gabby is darker than I am. Gabby is a lot darker than I am right now. And then she got these box braids in her hair, which now I did see because, OMFG Reality, he posted her picture recently, right? And people were talking about her in the comments, and she's like, her dad is black. Girl, when did you mention that? You ain't never said nothing about your daddy being black. Okay, Gabby, if you say so, right? So Gabby and Chris went over to her mama's house, and baby, when they went to her mama's house, her mom was like, what is he doing here? I just brought him by so you can speak to him. Hi, bye. Mama wasn't here for it, and I was with mama. And, he was like, where's the food? I was, you a little disrespectful. Flavor Flav, come get your son. Like, I want Flavor Flav to come get his illegitimate love child, because that is Flavor Flav's son. I don't care what you say. That is Flavor Flav's son. So she mentions, Chris talking to other women. He said he was just thanking the women. I'm like, okay, Chris, that's the best lie you could come up with in that particular moment, that you were thanking the women. Okay, I mean, I guess not the best lie, but okay, whatever. Where are we at? So Mama, like I said, Mama wasn't feeling them, so Mama really wanted them to go, so they eventually did leave, right? And then later in the episode, we see Gabby. So Gabby is telling us about the domestic violence situation with she and Chris, and the fact that, Chris abused her. And again, despite the fact how I feel about Gabby, no man has the right to put their hands on a woman. No man or woman has the right to put their hands on anyone else. So she was talking about the fact that Chris was texting another woman, and she caught him texting a woman, and they got into a fight. And she said they fought for 2 hours, and she called the police and just left the phone. Oh God, Jesus, that is horrible. Again, I don't like Gabby, but I don't wish that on nobody. Now, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. Lord. But my issue, I don't have an issue. That's a bad choice of words. The thing that I would say for Gabby is, when you saw Chris texting another woman, all you should have said to Chris, don't confront him. Like, you shouldn't have confronted Chris, right? But that doesn't give him the right to put his hands on her. But my thing is, when it comes to Gabby, you should have never confronted him. You should have told him, okay, since you're going to continue to be disrespectful, Chris, I want you to get all your stuff, and you got to get out of my house at this point. Like, that's what I would have told Chris. Get your stuff, and please leave my home. I don't want to see you. I don't want to deal with you. You got to get your stuff and get the hell out of my place. That's what I would have said to Chris. And like I said, I wish Gabby wouldn't have, wouldn't have done. And I wish Gabby would not have engaged in him. Like, let him and that woman be. Let him and her be. If he wants to go be with another woman, tell him bye. Pack your, like Beyonce said, to the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. To the left, to the left. And this is my left, you guys. I know you guys probably, it look like my right from how you guys might see it, but it is my left. I would have just said to the left, to the left. Like, you got to go. But you live and you learn, right? And Gabby says she got a restraining order on Chris, and Chris has been calling her, trying to get her to drop the charges. Don't drop them charges. I saw little parts of that video, and it was terrible. She said he broke her bones and he knocked her teeth out. Damn. I was going to say something not so nice about Chris. Well, I can say it. You knocked her teeth out. Somebody should have rearranged your face, because you are an ugly person inside and out. Now, I have been trying to refrain from calling Chris ugly, but I got to do it today. Chris is an ugly son of a bitch. Chris is ugly as fuck. And if anybody has an issue with that, me saying Chris is ugly, I don't care. Chris is ugly. His insides are ugly, and it radiates even worse on his facial. I try to say he's facially challenged, but he's not facially challenged. Chris is an ugly ass son of a bitch. Period. Point blank. Tell your mama I don't give a damn. Let's pause here and move forward. You guys, I want to talk about Eris and Cameron. I don't have a lot of notes for Eris and Cameron, but we all talked about it in the comment section last week how we feel about Eris. Could Cameron be a good guy? Absolutely. I don't have an issue with her. Here's my thing. It's not even the fact that he just got out of prison. I don't have an issue with the fact that Cameron just got out of prison. I have the issue with the fact that you don't know this man that well. You're just really getting to know this man in the outside world. So you don't know his quirks. You don't know what makes him tick. You don't know if he's the type of person that might harm your daughter physically, mentally, emotionally. You don't know that, and you are springing him into your daughter's life. And I just have an issue with that. That is the only issue that I have, is that you're springing him into your daughter's life so soon, right? So he met the daughter the night before the wedding, and I don't agree with that either, right? I get that, she talked about her daughter's father, right? He had 2 other women pregnant at the same time that she was pregnant. He was here illegitimately, so when he was using different aliases. When he got caught, they deported him back to his country. So I'm pretty sure he's from somewhere in Africa, right? And I'm okay. I get that you want a father figure for your daughter, but I think you just went about it the wrong way. And I'm not saying that Cameron is a bad guy. Cameron seems like a lot. I will say that he definitely does seem like a lot, but I just don't agree with this thing that she's doing with her daughter. I think this could go so many different ways, like I said, right? And I'm not saying that this is what Cameron is gonna do, but you gotta, as a parent, I just can't imagine as someone, well, I don't have kids, but my best friend, that's my niece. I couldn't imagine nobody, I know she wouldn't do it, right? She always wanted someone to get to know her child. She wanted to get to know them first, and then they meet her daughter, right? And I think that's what Cameron and Eris should have done. More specifically, Eris, I think you should have taken the time to get to know him outside of prison. And that goes for anybody. Like, again, I'm not saying this because he was in prison. I'm saying this because he's a virtual stranger to you, right? That could be somebody that you meet, like I always say, you meet somebody in church. You can meet a man in church, right? That goes for the church, the club, the mall, wherever you meet a person at. You have young children. Her daughter is 9 years old. You need to get to know him first, right? Before you bring him into your child's life. And your daughter is 9 years old. So in a few years, your daughter is going to start to go through puberty. And she's going to start developing breast. She's going to have her menstrual cycle. She's going to, start to, like I said, she's going to develop breast. She's going to have a menstrual cycle. And I'm not saying this to say that Cameron is going to do something to your daughter, but you're taking a big risk. And I don't like that. I don't like that. And I would say this for a young boy or a young girl. I feel the same way on both accounts. Young boys can be molested and, the R word, repeated, and young girls can be molested and repeated as well. So I wish her and Cameron the best. I really do. They got married. I was trying to figure out why he got on that red devilish looking suit. Like, I'm not saying that Cameron's a bad guy, and I don't want anybody to construe that as me saying that he's a bad guy. But you didn't think about things, right? And here's where I'm coming from, right? Because let's just think about Cameron. Cameron got out of prison. Cameron went to the halfway house. Cameron went out for the night, came back drunk, right? Because he failed the breathalyzer. I don't think this is a good idea. But I mean, we're gonna see how it ends up, because they're gonna be on life after lockup. It just wouldn't be something that I would do if I was a parent. But I'm gonna wish them nothing but the best and hope nothing bad happens, right? Because we even said the same thing about what's her name from Life After Lockup, Taylor and Chance. We said that about her with her daughters. But we'll see how it plays out, you guys. But let's pause here and move forward. Ashley and Travis, you guys. Ashley really does need some medication. Because sis ain't all the way there either, right? So I guess Ashley and Travis were about to have sex, and she got a text message from her landlord. So her landlord is putting her out. She has 14 days to get out of that house, right? Because the landlord doesn't want Travis in his home because Travis is an ex-con and a felon. And I mean, I get that, right? I get that. I can understand that. You take those, that's some of the risks you take when you become a felon. You might have people who might not want to rent to you, people who might not want to give you a job. So those are some risks that you take when you do the crimes that you do, right? Ashley was so damn pissed off. The producers were trying to talk to her. She said, leave me alone. I'm not talking to you. So then Travis was trying to talk to the producer. No, babe, don't talk to me. I'm like, girl, calm down. They ain't done nothing to you. It's your landlord. But then it finally showed its weirdest ugly head why Ashley's so pissed. Ashley ain't got no money like that. I was like, ooh, that's terrible. So you buy all this jewelry and you not really selling it. I get we went through a pandemic and I get a lot of things, girl, but and then she can't afford to live there. She can't afford her car note. I was like, I have been in that situation before. I've definitely been there. Well, not where I couldn't afford my car, but I couldn't. Well, no, I couldn't. No. I ain't never been that part, but I've been where trying to figure out where you're gonna stay. But the reason why I was trying to figure out last time where I was trying to figure out where to stay because my lease ended, and they put my apartment on the market and did not tell me until the last minute. So they had to get their stuff out of the house. A part of me feels like with Ashley, she was living above her means because she was talking about baby, me and that landlord would have fought because baby, you are not finna keep $6,000 of my money, which is a security deposit. And I think she said last month's rent. So you can keep the last month's rent, but my security deposit, if the house wasn't a mess, if you didn't have to go in there and clean things out, which actually I think that he did have to go through and clean things out because Travis was talking to his mom. They had to sell some of Ashley's belongings to have a little bit of money so they went from Florida to Virginia, right? So he had to move his parole. So I guess they probably did leave the place a mess because he said when they left, there were still some things sitting outside of the house. I was like, oh, y'all really had to get up and leave. Wow. What a hole. That's a mess. He at one point he had to go leave to go see his parole officer, and she got mad at him because she wanted to get in the pool, and she was pointing at her breast, and I'm like, girl, this man said he got to go see his parole officer. What you want him to do? Miss his parole officer and potentially go back to prison? Let's never see Ashley and Travis again. Let's pause here and move to the next couple, Justine and Michael. Now this scene with Michael, I think this was a setup scene because this scene just did not seem like a real scene. With him and the kids and the little boys were fighting. Now, I know kids fight with each other, right? But that just seemed very fake, especially when the daughter got in. I'm like, girl, now you are grown. You almost grown, girl. Okay. So Michael was on the phone doing business about his shoes. His sneakers. So is Michael trying to, I was like, so is Michael trying to design sneakers? Okay, I mean, cool. I don't have no issues with that. I'm just wondering how much of that is a real storyline. But, he had a sketch that he said he drew, but I noticed in the scene that he said he drew the sketch, but then they zoomed in on the paper. Wasn't nothing on that paper. Maybe he drew it previously. So we see him on the phone with Justine. Justine is at the store, and so I've already heard the spoiler that Justine is pregnant. So because we see Justine, she bought a pregnancy test. She went home, showed Michael the pregnancy test, and I believe Justine is pregnant. But we'll probably find that out in Life After Lockup. Now let's wrap this episode up with Monique and Derek, you guys. So let's pause here and wrap up. All right, you guys. Lastly, Monique and Derek, right? So you guys remember Monique and Derek were involved in that high speed, slow speed chase. Baby, I forgot to mention it last week about them in their car when they boomed over that train track. That was funny to me. So this week, Monique is on the phone with her sister, right? So Monique still thinks that it was Derek's sisters who were in that car. Remember, last week's episode, Derek told us he knew exactly who was in that car. And he really didn't know who exactly was in that car, right? So Derek left, right? So Derek called the person that he thought it was, right? And she said, yeah, it was her. Now, she didn't say it at first, but then she finally eventually said, yeah, it was me, right? So who it is, so Derek was talking to his CO while he was in prison. So I'm assuming Derek was talking to his CO and Monique at the same time, right? And now he said that this CO is ghetto. I was like, well, I mean, what did you, I mean, if you know she ghetto, then why did you talk to her? Because you're talking about it like it's a bad thing, right? So let's be, I like Derek, you guys, but I think I found what I was saying about Derek. Derek is too good to be true. I don't know if Derek really loves Monique or loves what Monique does for him. And I think that's ultimately what it is that Derek loves what Monique does for him. So he's going to meet up with this woman, but he's also going to give Monique a ring, right? I don't know why in the hell he is getting Monique a ring. Because he feels like that's going to help with her insecurities. No, it's not. Monique is insecure in herself, and it exudes to you. Monique is insecure. She feels like you're gonna find, even if you put a ring on Monique's finger, an engagement ring and a wedding ring, that ain't gonna help Monique, because Monique is gonna be jealous of any woman that you are around. So let's keep that a buck, right? I just don't know why he would marry somebody so insecure. And then she was tracking him. Oh, Derek is moving. So then she called him. He didn't answer. He didn't answer the phone. I'm like, oh my God, Monique, please stop. I do not like Monique at all. So then he met up with his brothers, and his brothers was like, when he told his brothers he's buying her an engagement ring, they were like, why? I was like, exactly. Why are you buying her an engagement ring? Monique might be a sweet girl, right? But as far as what I can see with Monique, she's just not that likable. Like, and it's really because of her insecurities. Like, I know people have, I have my insecurity. Do I have insecurity? Do I have an insecurity? I used to have an insecurity. I don't have it anymore. I used to have an insecurity about my teeth, because I used to have a bigger gap than what I have now. The only reason why I have a gap now is because I stopped wearing I didn't get a retainer, but I'm gonna go get my teeth finally finished, you know. But that's not something that I'm insecure about these days, but I was once insecure about my smile. That was my only insecurity. But other than that, but when it comes to Monique, I think Monique is insecure about a lot of things. I feel like Monique might be insecure about her smile. She might be insecure about her weight. She's definitely insecure about her weight. That is the number one thing that I think is her biggest insecurity, is her weight. But I mean, only God can help her, and a therapist. But that's really all I got, you guys. If I missed anything, we can discuss it down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And also, I do want to mention one other thing. Monique is going to flip the fuck out when she finds out that Derek's brother turned off his location, so she can't track him. But I'll see you guys in the next one.